Hello, and welcome back to another episode. Today, in the spirit of November, I wanted to talk about gratitude and appreciation. So, it's easy when we enter into this zone in the fourth quarter of the salon world of, oh my goodness, it's going to be so booked, so busy. People are frantic to get in before Thanksgiving, before Christmas, before New Year's, all the holidays, Hanukkah. It's, the cycle tends to be summer, people start to stretch appointments, they spend time on the beach, they're not as on top of things. And then we get to September and it's back to school for the kids. Mom's not so focused on her own appearance. She's worried about little Johnny getting his back to school haircut and getting his books in order and, supplies for school and all the things. And they're kind of, in a hurry to get things done. And then October comes and it's getting a little chillier. They're running around buying snow boots and jackets and all of the things. And then come November, everybody starts to look in the mirror and they're like, oh my gosh, the holidays are coming. I really have to get my hair done. So we tend to be at the most busy between November and the end of the year. November 1st and the end of December, you just feel like you're on super hyper speed of trying to do all the things for all the people and doing all the squeeze ins and running yourself into the ground. So it's important to remember that it's much easier to maintain a happy existing client than to get a new client. The landscape changes all the time. Sometimes there's this, after the pandemic, everybody was flooded with new clients because all the salons being shut down, clients were forced to really take a look at, am I really happy with the person that I've been going to? Because prior to the shutdown, they were just automatically, in our salon, pre-booking appointments for the next, 3 visits out. We were very good at pre-booking clients. And it was just an automatic thing. And then being home, I don't know about you, but a lot of our clients decided that they didn't mind seeing the gray in their hair. We saw this whole silver gray transition thing happen in the salon world that has never happened before. So we had to adjust to that. And clients stretching appointments, trying to allow some of their own gray to come in. So all of a sudden, we have space in our book on our calendars that we may not have had before. And the trend in recent years is, oh, I only do lived in blondes, or I only do extensions and foils, or I only do extensions and balayage. And stylists weren't doing single process touch ups. They weren't doing children's haircuts, wedding updos, makeup, all the things. And while I am a huge proponent of specialization, I also think that you have to look at the big picture and know your audience and know what you're good at and really prepare for those gaps and holes in your schedule. So, yes, everybody wants to get in between now and January 1st, but then January 1st comes and it's crickets, right? And then the one year that I tried to get ahead of it and I said, you know what? Every year I complain that the first week of January, I might as well not even be here. It's so slow. From now on, I'm going to take that week off. And then the year that I decided to take it off, people said, you know what? I don't need my hair done for the holiday. I'm going to come in the week after Christmas because it's quieter in the salon and I'll be able to enjoy it because, it'll be a little bit less hectic. And you just basically, my point is, you can't really plan for it. These cycles happen as they do, but it's important to show appreciation and really love on the clients that you have, even in the busy, hectic times. Don't let the clients that were poor planners, don't let them, quote, squeeze in between the clients that took the time to pre-book and make that holiday appointment. Don't ruin everybody's visit thinking you can do more in the time that you have than you can. Because, I went to lunch with a friend yesterday and she said, meet me at the restaurant you've been wanting to go to. It's right across the street from my dog's groomer. And I remember when I had a dog that needed to be groomed, I would be on my way to the salon on a Saturday morning and the groomer would say, drop him off at 8:30. I'll call you when he's ready. And I would have that anxious feeling all day, like I dropped my preschooler off at school, thinking this groomer is going to call me and I'm going to be in the middle of a client. I'm not going to be able to go get him. Well, 9:30 goes by, 10:30 goes by, 11:30, all day. I kept looking for this call that never came. I finished my day. I called the groomer and they said, "Oh, he's not ready yet." And it was 4 o'clock. And I'm thinking, he's this tiny little Shih Tzu. How long can it possibly take to cut his hair and nails? What are they doing to this dog? So I said this to my friend yesterday, and she said, "Oh, they do it in phases. They do, bring him out and they do his nails, and then they put him in a crate, and then they do another dog's nails, and then they put him in a crate, and then they do my dog's hair, and then put him back in the crate, and it's this cycle thing." And I said, it's crazy to me because as a hairdresser, when hairdressers work that way, and believe me, in the 70s and 80s, stylists had like 4 clients going at the same time. They booked every 15 minutes. I remember interviewing a girl and she was proud as a peacock to tell me that she's booked every 15 minutes. And I said, "It was so nice meeting you. This is not the place for you." And she looked at me and she said, "I'm booked every 15 minutes. I do, $3,000 a week in clients." And I said, "That's great. And I think you should stay where you are because that's not our model here. We're high service, high touch, high ticket. I don't want all that madness." I had 2 sinks and 10 stylists, and having her booked every 15 minutes was not going to do anybody any favors in my salon culture because she was going to be like the Tasmanian devil all over the place running behind. And that wasn't the vibe I was looking for. So, we think we're doing the client who wants to be squeezed in, we think we're making her happy, but we're really upsetting. It's a domino effect of all the other clients that were coming in that day. It's just not physically possible to do 2 things at one time. So somebody's always waiting. And yes, sometimes it can work out that your single process client is processing and the other client comes exactly on time and you're able to do something to her while they're processing. But unless you have a full-time assistant with you, chances are everybody's going to have to sit and wait and nobody's going to be happy. So show your appreciation to your existing clients by respecting their time, respecting the one-on-one time with them and not overloading your schedule during the holidays, and just make it a more pleasant experience for you and your guests. I can't tell you how many holidays I ruined for myself and my husband and children because I would end up being sick. I would do so much for everybody else, not thinking about my own needs and my own boundaries that should have been in place. And I burned myself out. And I remember so many Thanksgivings being home on the sofa under a blanket eating soup while everybody else was enjoying a Thanksgiving feast because I burned myself out and got sick. It's also a time of year that a lot of your clients are going to show up sick. And they say, "Oh, I had to come and get my hair done, but as soon as I'm done here, I'm going right to bed. I'm not feeling well." And you're like, "Thank you, Leslie. You just got me and the girl that's shampooing your hair and the front desk girl that touches your money. And you just got everybody sick. And it's the busiest time of year. So thanks for coming. I'm so glad you didn't cancel." Clients are selfish. They want their hair done. They don't care that they're sick and they're going to bring you all their little germs. So protect yourself and make sure that you're taking care of yourself so that your resistance is where it should be and you're not run down and susceptible to everything that comes in the door. And have the confidence and the ability to say to someone who visibly is barking all over the place, "I'm going to have to ask you to go home because you're going to take down the whole entire salon for the entire holiday season if you stay." So having that difficult conversation, you may lose that sick client forever. She may get pissed and never come back. But think about the production that when she coughs and breathes all over everybody, selfishly getting her hair done, now you have 2 colorists and 2 stylists out sick for a full flu, which usually can be, up to 10 days. You have them out of commission all because that one selfish client had to come in. So just checking in, making sure that you're taking care of yourself, you're showing appreciation to the clients that you have. Don't take them for granted. Don't assume that they're coming back. Don't, we all have that client that we say, "Oh, she won't mind if I squeeze so and so in. She loves hanging out here." She doesn't. especially around the holidays. She has things to do. She has shopping to do. She has a whole list of to-dos that she doesn't want to put off because you ran behind because you're accommodating somebody else. So there's a balance. There's times that you have to do it. There's times that you don't need to do it, and just know the difference. Take care of yourself. And I hope you got a little nugget out of this conversation of how to move forward in the best way possible to have an amazing November, and take the time to, wake up in the morning, write down 3 things that you're grateful for. It's a great practice. I have a little gratitude jar and I'm so bad at it. If I don't have my little pad right in front of me, I forget. But as soon as I stop this recording, I'm going to write down 3 things I'm grateful for today and put them in that jar. And then at the end of the year, I usually get a little melancholy at the end of the year. New Year's Eve can be kind of a bummer for me sometimes. And I open up that jar and I remind myself of all the blessings that I've had throughout the year. And there's difficult things in there too, but knowing that I got past the difficult things, I've never had a year as difficult as this past one, between the hurricane and closing my salon and all the things. It was a really tough year, but I still have so much to be grateful for. So take the time, do the gratitude exercise, write it down, say it out loud. Notice the small things, the rainbow after the rain, the hot cup of coffee at the perfect time, a client bringing you something to eat when they know that you didn't have time for lunch. Just really take the time to find that gratitude. And I will see you on the next one.